Hey, it's Steph. Thanks for watching today's video. Let's just talk about the elephant in the room first. But this is my Pan That palette update. If you don't care about my face, I'll put a timestamp on the screen of you can just skip ahead to the progress of my palettes. But yes, I have this very ugly red mark under my eye. If you've been around, I did film a couple videos. I think it was in December, like early December possibly, where I had like a red dry patch under my eye and I didn't know what it came from. I didn't know what was causing it. And so I was like using this cream and it went away. It was fine. It was great. And so I stopped using the cream and it didn't come back. So I thought, it was just a one-off occurrence. And just a couple days ago, it started coming back. I don't know if you could tell in my Get Ready With Me that I posted a couple of days ago, but you could see it was like starting to come back a little bit under my eye. So I've got to the point where I'm totally comfortable just putting makeup on top of it. When I remove my makeup at night, I'll just put this special cream on it and it goes away eventually, like if I use that cream. So I was fully intending on, putting makeup on over it and nobody would know. And then my toddler, I have a 17-month-old. I don't know if he saw it and went to grab at it or if it was just like a coincidence, but he grabbed my face and he scratched the exact spot where this dry patch is. So it's raw, like there's an open wound, and so I did not want to put makeup on it, but I really wanted to do this video. I have an exciting update, and of course I just wanted to do my monthly updates and continue using my palettes. So I'm just a panning channel. I'm not like this big channel, so I just figured it's fine. I trust that you guys won't say any mean comments to me in the down below. So yeah, I'm a real person. Life happens. Everyone has skin issues, and I'm just going through one right now, and it's totally fine. I do have like this ointment on top of it to protect it. You can kind of see. And so I did not put any like concealer on, and I don't have any eyeshadow or mascara on my bottom lash line, just so it'd be really easy to take my makeup off. I'm going to take my makeup off like right after this video probably. But again, I'm a panning channel. I need to get my usage in. So that's the update on my face. So I'm here to talk about my Pan That palette. I am doing this for the very first time this year, and I'm working on an eyeshadow palette and a face palette. The eyeshadow palette is my Anastasia Beverly Hills Sultry palette. This is the oldest eyeshadow palette in my collection. It's very loved, and because it's the oldest and I'm a cool tone neutral lover, I knew that this palette would be pretty easy and fun for me to work on throughout this year. And then for my face palette, I am working on my Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit, the Jellyfish palette. So let's just get into my usage. If you're not subscribed, I hope you do so before you leave and give this video a thumbs up. I'm going to put a video of the Anastasia Beverly Hills Sultry palette. Last month when I did my introduction, I already had 7 pans in this palette and the shade Fresh was empty. That was a lid setting shade for me, and I've just used it up over the years. My goal for this palette this year is to just hit pan in every shade. That's my main goal. If I finish any shades, that would be amazing, but that would be a bonus for me. And if I hit pan in all of the shades fairly quickly, I hope I'll finish some shades throughout the year. But even if I hit all the pans, I'm just going to continue working on this palette until December, till the end of December. I also had a soft goal of using every shade 5 times. And that is because I am focusing on specific shades to hit pan, but I still wanted to get usage on the whole palette throughout the month. This is what the palette is currently looking like. So hopefully you can see some changes. You can definitely tell that I've used some of these shadows, and oh, there goes the brush. And I've expanded the pans on some of these. I feel like I am close to hitting pan in Ember. You can definitely see the dip forming. And if you did not notice, I have a new pan in this palette. It's the smallest little pan you ever did see, but I did hit this in my, do you see me like peeking down? I hit this pan in my recent Get Ready With Me video, and I was so excited. So obviously I will continue to use this and expand the pan. It is the smallest little pan ever, but honestly, like, I'm satisfied hitting pan in this black. A lot of people avoid hitting pans in black, so I'm just proud that I did that. And it's not my favorite black, so I mean, it's so pigmented. It's a very pigmented black, but I get a ton of fallout and transfer throughout the day. It goes into my lower lash line, so I mean, it's not my favorite formula. It's old though, so you know. So I'm gonna put up a picture of comparing how it looked in the introduction and how it looks now, and then I will talk about the usage as you look at that picture. So like I said, the first shade, Fresh, is empty. The second shade, Pearl, I've actually used this 10 times, so I doubled my soft usage goal of 5. You can definitely see that the pan has expanded, and I feel like this is one shade that I will be able to finish this year if I just continue using it in my inner corner. The third shade, Steampunk, this was a shade that I avoided. This is the warmest shade in the palette, and I actually only used it once, which is very disappointing. I'm actually using it today. I'll show you my look in a little bit, but I've only used that shade once, so not a ton of movement. The next shade is that pink shimmer Rose Quartz. I've used this 4 times, so I did not quite meet my 5 use goal, but I am happy with the little bit of usage that I see. Ember is that nice deep bronzy shade, and I can definitely see a ton of wear in this shade. It's very soft, and I did use that 5 times. Next is Bloom. This is a matte pink shade. I used this 4 times, so I did not quite meet my 5 use goal. But I did really enjoy this pop of pink. It works really well with my Pan Those eyeshadows. The last shade in the first row is Birch, which is a warm matte shade, and I did use this 5 times. Today was my 5th use. So hopefully the pan has expanded a little bit. I haven't looked at the comparison pictures yet. But let's move down to the second row. That first shade, Cinder, I've only used twice, but I feel like the pan has expanded a little bit. This shade is very soft and moves a lot when I use it. Next is Twig, a nice neutral matte, I would say. It's all of these mattes are too dark for my transition, but they're all great for the crease. And this shade I've used 4 times, so not quite my 5 use goal. The next shade is Teak, and this is a gorgeous color, but I only marked down that I used it once. I feel like I've used it more than that though, so hopefully if I used it more, I'll have it on the screen to correct myself, and also you'll be seeing all the looks that I have worn this past month in a little bit. The next shade is one that I've used the most. This is Dystopian. It's a deep chocolatey brown. I've used this 11 times. This is great to deepen out my outer corner. But as you can see, there's not a lot of movement, and it's very, very hard pressed, I guess you would say. Both this shade and the black are pretty hard pressed, but I think I will try to maybe use this as a liner going forward now that I have met my pan, goal in the black. But yeah, that shade is slow moving. The next shade, a silver metallic. This is Cyborg. I have used this 5 times, so I did meet my goal. I love this shade. I am wearing it today, and I feel like the pan maybe expanded a little bit, but not a ton. Next is a gray matte. This is Slate, and I also use this 5 times. You can kind of tell like what shades I prefer in this palette. And hopefully, again, the pan expanded a little bit. And then the last shade, Noir, I use this 9 total times to hit pan. I obviously use a very small brush for my eyeliner, and so the pan is teeny tiny, but still counts. Yeah, so that is the overall for this palette. Now I'm going to talk about some looks that I've created with this. I will have them all on the screen. I'm going to start off with what I'm wearing today. I use that gold steampunk all over my lid. I have the warm toned matte in my outer half of my crease, the shade Birch, and then I blended in Slate in the inner half of my crease. That is kind of how I like doing my crease with this palette, because I feel like if I go all in with the warm crease, it's a little too warm for my liking. And then I also blended in Cyborg a little bit in my inner corner, and I have Pearl in my actual inner corner, and then Dystopian is what is kind of deepening out the outer corner of my lid. Oh, I totally forgot to put earrings in. I brought them too. It's fine, it's fine. And I just dropped them on the floor. Okay, so the next look I'm going to talk about is a look that I combined this palette with some of my Pan eyeshadow shades. So I used a lot of neutrals with this look, and then I added that green in the inner corner. I got some comments on my Pan eyeshadows intro that like people were really wanting me to use the green in my inner corner, so I did that, and I really did enjoy this look. I think I did it a couple of times. Oh, I will say I'm not going to show you like repeats of looks, because there were a couple of looks that I did over and over again. So this next look is more of a pink look, and again I combined this palette with some from my Pan eyeshadows. I really enjoyed using this palette with my Pan eyeshadows this last month. I feel like they work really well together. This next look is another neutral. I did a lot of neutral looks, you guys. And you can see I also did a lot of black eyeshadow wings too. This is it looks really warm. I feel like I may have used Birch in that, but I did not circle it, so maybe not. This next look I'm going to talk about, I actually did like a bronze and purple look, and I was dreaming about this look. Well, I was like wide awake at 2 a.m. So it was like daydreaming because you're awake, but it was at 2 a.m. But I was thinking about this look and I couldn't get it out of my brain, so I knew I had to create it. And I just love these purples and bronzes together. I have this Juvia's Place palette in my Pan eyeshadows, but I'm also trying to do no pan left behind this year with all of my eyeshadows. So any palette that I have out, like in my panning drawer for a project, I'm going to take advantage of that and use every eyeshadow. This next look was actually inspired by Alyssa. I will have her link down below. She always has such creative, inspiring looks. And I did combine a ton of eyeshadows for this look, but I did use 3 shadows from my Sultry palette, as you can see. Very out of my comfort zone, but I enjoyed it. This next look is another neutral look. I did only use my Sultry palette for this look. I really enjoyed putting that pink on my lower lash line. I did that kind of at the last minute. I am finding that Rose Quartz, the like more pink metallic, is a little warm for me. I just wish it was like a little bit cooler pink. The next look is another neutral, but I did put a little pop of green on my lower lash line. I really enjoyed that. You can see how warm my crease or transition is with that birch shadow, but it's okay. The next is the look that I created in my recent Get Ready With Me video, a beautiful pink look. This pink is a warm pink. Again, I really like kind of making it a little bit cooler by mixing it with cool toned eyeshadows. And that is I have one more look to share, but I did not post this on my feed, so I forgot about it. But I did save it in my camera roll, but the quality is not going to be the best. But I did use Dystopian, Ember, and of course Pearl in this look as well. I created that look in the evening, so I didn't have like the greatest lighting to take a picture. Okay, that is all for my that eyeshadow palette. I did forget to mention that this kind of fits into the theme of the Fantastic Ladies this year, which is Old Faithful. I will have the creator of that on the screen over here. And yeah, just this palette is perfect for Old Faithful. It's my oldest palette, but I love it. I'm enjoying working on it. It's always been by my side. I used shadows from this palette in my wedding. So yeah, it's very, very like faithful. You know what I mean? Okay. Next, I'm going to talk about my face palette. Like I said in the beginning, I'm working on my Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit Jellyfish palette. I do not want to pan this completely this year, but I do want to see what it looks like after 100 uses on each shade. So I will put a video up now of what it looked like in the intro. I did not have much use on this before rolling it in. I had gotten this at the end of 2023. That was when it was released, and I have always kind of avoided these Hourglass palettes, but I could not resist the jellyfish packaging. I've always had a soft spot for jellyfish. If you guys know me, I'm an artist and I have painted and drawn jellyfish my whole life. I'm just fascinated by them and how graceful they are in the water, etc., etc. But the way that I use this palette is that I use every single shade in it when I use it. And you guys saw this if you saw my Get Ready With Me that I keep mentioning, because I used all panning products in that video, but I did show you how I used this. So I have used each shade 7 times this past month, and this is what it's currently looking like. So I don't think 7 uses is going to do much damage to these baked products. But I do feel like the highlighter is getting a little flatter. Hopefully you can see that. So if you missed my Get Ready With Me, I'll explain how I use these products. So this shade down here, I think it's called Ethereal Light. Yes. I use this under my eyes. Then this powder here called Diffuse Light, I just use this as a last step, like a finishing powder to blend things together. The bronzer, Lunar Bronze, obviously I have it on I have this on my face today. I don't know if I said that. I just put this on my forehead. It's too warm for me. That's all I'm going to say. I wonder if I try to mix it with this shade, if I could kind of like neutralize it. That might be an experiment that I try. I do mix the two blushes together because this shade is it's just like slightly too warm for me. That is the shade Diffused Heat, and then this shade here is Rose Fusion. So I mix those together. That's what I have on my cheeks. And then of course I have this beautiful highlighter on my cheeks as well. And that is the shade Opal Strobe Light. So that is how I use this palette all over my face, and makes it easy for tracking because I know I've used it, all of the shades every time I use it. So I've used them all 7 times, which I feel like that number seems low, and I'm the kind of panner that I just want to hit my goals as quickly as possible. I just want to like attack it. So 7 out of 100 uses seems not good. If you've been around, I was sick the first 2 weeks of January, so I definitely could have used it more if I didn't get sick, but that is life. I did do the math, and in order to hit 100 uses by the end of January, I have to use this palette at least 8 times a month. It was like 8.333, so some months I have to use it 9 times. So I mean, 7 is not that far off from the 8 required uses every month, so I could easily catch up, but I am behind now in the first month. But yeah, I have blushes in my Rolling Project 10 pan. I have blushes in other projects. I have, oh my goodness, why did I do this to myself? It's fine. I have a whole year to meet these 100 uses. I just, like I said, I just want to get my goal as fast as possible. So I think that's all I have to say. Hopefully by the next update, my eye does not look like this. It's quite painful, to be honest, but if you enjoyed, if you think I'm doing a good job, give this video a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, I hope you do so before you leave. I have more updates coming in February. Very exciting because it's all like the first updates of the year. See how January went. So subscribe if you're not, and I hope to see you all in my next one. Bye.